All right, hello and welcome everybody to the Smithsonian Learning Lab online office hours. My name is Tess Porter and I'm a digital content producer and educator here at the Smithsonian Center for Learning and Digital Access, which is the central education office here at the Smithsonian and the office behind the Smithsonian Learning Lab. If this is your first time joining us, we hold these office hours just about every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. You can keep updated with our schedule of events at the URL here on the screen, as well as our Help Center, which is located at learninglab.si.edu/help. So these office hours are a time to get help with the Learning Lab on kind of many different types of help. So if you need help finding a particular type of resource or collection on a topic you're interested in, I can help with that. If you're looking to go in depth with one of the tools of the Learning Lab, maybe you want to learn how to build a sorting activity to engage students with some digital museum resources you found, I can help with that too. I can also give a general introduction to what the Learning Lab is and how it works. So if you have a question, you can submit it at any time using one of two methods, depending on where you're joining us today. If you're joining us on YouTube, you can submit a question using the chat box, which you'll see to the right of the video. And if you're joining us on Facebook, you can submit questions using the comment box. Again, you can submit comments, questions at any time throughout today's session. I'm going to be answering audience questions throughout, kind of in the order that they come in. With that said, I'd love to navigate over to the Learning Lab itself. If this is your first time visiting the website, you can find it at learninglab.si.edu. And I've actually got it open in another tab here. So the Smithsonian Learning Lab is a free online platform that's designed with teachers and students in mind, where users can discover digital museum resources from across the Smithsonian, create interactive learning experiences with them, and share their creations with others. The homepage will walk you through all the ins and outs of what discovery, creation, and sharing mean on the lab, though again, if you'd like a walkthrough, I'd be happy to give you one here today. Just send me a notice here in the chat. While I wait for the first question to come in, I'm going to turn off my webcam, but I will still be here, still watching the chat, and I'll come back as soon as the first question arrives. So, see you all soon. Look at me, I'm talking with my mic off. Hi, everybody. We are right at the beginning of today's Smithsonian Learning Lab online office hours, which we hold just about every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. These office hours are a time to get questions about the Smithsonian Learning Lab answered. I'm happy to help with whatever you need, ranging from the general introduction to what the Learning Lab is, a deep dive into one of the site's tools, or some help finding a resource or interactive learning experience that can help you in whatever learning experience you're building. So if you have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat if you're joining us on YouTube, or the comment box if you're joining us on Facebook. I'll be entering questions as they come in today. I see we have a hello from Dale. Dale, it's good to see you. While I wait for the first question to come in, I'm going to turn off my webcam, but I will still be here, still watching the chat, and I'll come back as soon as the next question or first question arrives. So, see you soon. All right, hello everybody. We're about halfway through today's Smithsonian Learning Lab online office hours, which we hold just about every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. I am here during these office hours to help you with whatever you need regarding the Learning Lab. This is a great time to come in and share if you have a question and you need some help with using the site. So I can help with things like a general introduction to what the Learning Lab is and how it works if this is your first time checking out the platform. I can also go in depth with some step-by-step demonstrations on how to do some more advanced things on the site, like adding interactivity to a collection you're already building through the addition of questions or hotspots. I can also help you find a resource or a collection to support a topic that you're working on right now. So again, if you have a question, you can submit it at any time using the chat box if you're joining us on YouTube, or the comment box if you're joining us on Facebook. I'm watching the chat throughout today's session, and we'll be answering questions as they come in. I see already that there are just some hellos in the chat. Hi, hope you're doing well. So while I wait for the first question to come in today, I'm going to turn off my webcam, but I am still here, still keeping an eye on the chat, and I'll come back as soon as the first question arrives. So see you soon. Hi, I see we have a question here from Ricardo. Ricardo, thank you for joining us. Let me pull up your question so others can see it. It looks like you're interested in walking through how to create a collection. Absolutely. I can walk you through that process step by step. I'm already on the Learning Lab. You're seeing the home page right now. And to kind of walk through this question, I can show first how to search for resources to find a resource to use as the starting point of your collection. And then I'll show you how to create a collection from it. If you're interested in diving deeper into some of the, abilities to customize a collection, say if you're interested in diving a little bit into edit mode and looking at the different types of changes you can make through the addition of interactive questions, hotspots, or even things like sorting activities, please let me know. I'd be happy to walk through that too. So to get us started, I'm going to start with a search for resources. And to do that, I'm going to look for the search bar at the top of the screen. It will always be in the top left. And I'll use this to search for both resources and collections. So to get us off with kind of a general search, I think I'm going to do a search for civil rights. As I begin typing in search terms here, it's going to give me some suggestions. It'll give me suggestions of resources or different keywords that'll lead me to resources that might be helpful for exploring this topic. And it'll show me some suggestions of Learning Lab collections that have already been created and published by users of the site related to my topic. I'm going to do a simple search for civil rights first. So this search is going to bring me resources from across the Smithsonian related to my search term. So this includes things from all of the Smithsonian museums down here in Washington, D.C., but also museums in New York, in Virginia, as well as all of our research, education, and cultural centers. Depending on what you search for, sometimes you'll get very many resources, sometimes you'll get very few. For civil rights, I got over 1,500, which is pretty great, but that's a lot to go through. So luckily, there are some tools I can use on the left to help me narrow this. I won't go too in-depth in this now since we're concentrating on building a collection, but I'd be happy to talk more about it in detail if it would be helpful to you. To narrow down the search to find a resource to begin, I'm going to click, I'm going to narrow my search by resource type. So say, I just want to see images of artifacts, artwork, photographs that would be in a gallery. And then I'm going to narrow it by resource provider. Say, I just want to see portraits of people involved in civil rights movements. I can narrow it that way. So I'm going to update my search. And here I've been able to shrink it down to much, much fewer, just over 100. All of these are resources, and if you click on any of them, you can view them in greater detail. So say you want to start a collection from this resource. To do that, you'll want to look at the buttons on the left-hand side of the screen. This will let you do a few different things, but to create a collection, I'm going to look for the one that shows 3 rectangles on top of each other with a plus sign on top. This is the button that allows me to either create a new collection or add this resource to an existing collection. So here are the ones that I already have on my account. But I'm interested in creating a new collection, so that's what I'm going to do here. It's asking me to add a title and description to my collection, and I can change these later at any time. So for now, I might do something simple. So civil rights collection, TBD, to be decided. I'm going to come back to this later. This drop-down menu you won't see on your account. This is something that we're piloting right now with Smithsonian staff. So to create my collection, I'm going to click the blue Create Collection button. And awesome, I've just created my first collection. I'll show how to navigate to it in a moment, but first I want to add just a few more resources there. That button that I found to add a resource to a collection also appears on these resources when I view them in search results. So I can use this to quickly add them to a collection. So I'd like to keep adding resources to my civil rights collection. So to do that, I'm going to click on the thumbnail so it has a blue check mark on top, and then click Add. You'll see that in this interface, I also have the ability to add resources to multiple collections at a time if I wanted. I'm just going to add them to this collection. Okay, I've got a pretty good starting point in my collection. Now I want to navigate to it. To do so, I'll go to the sunburst in the upper right. This is the main navigational tool of the site. I can use it to navigate to many different places, including my collections page. And on this page, I'm going to see a few different things. It's going to first show me all of the published collections associated with my account. If you've just created an account for the first time, you won't have anything here. And then for new collections that you create, automatically they're going to be unpublished, which means they are just viewable to you and those you send the URL to. So they're going to be located in the My Unpublished Collections tab. And it'll show you, again, thumbnails for all of your collections. And here is the new one I just created. So it's got all the resources I pulled in, and if I want to make some changes, maybe rearrange the order, add some interactivity, change my description, I'll click the Edit Collection button. That'll put me into edit mode where I can make changes. It'll auto-save every minute, and it'll keep track of how long it's been at the top of the screen. I can also turn off autosave if I'd like. And then I'll use the save and exit button on the bar to exit out of edit mode when I'm ready to go back to the main collection view, which is what other users will see if I were to send the URL of my collection to someone else or publish my collection so it's available for others to discover on the site. The last thing I wanted to share with this is just one way of creating a collection. There are actually two others. You can create a collection from scratch. Say, if you want to just create a bucket of a collection but don't have any resources you wanted to put into it yet, you can do that by going back to the My Collections page and clicking Create a New Collection here. You can also copy and adapt a collection that someone else has created to adapt however you like. You can do that with any collection on the lab. You can even do it with ones that you've created if you want to make a copy and make some adjustments in a different version. So to copy any collection, you'll look at the buttons on the top right of the screen. This again will give you a few different options to interact. The one with two boxes overlapping each other is the Copy Collection button. This will allow you to create a copy of a collection. If you're creating a copy of someone else's collection, it will create a version on your account you can adapt however you like. It will always link back to the original creator, so we do the citing information or the citation for you. So those are the three different ways to create a collection. But again, if you're interested in learning more about how to customize a collection now that you've created it, please let me know in the chat. I'd be happy to walk you through kind of all of the basic features of customization, like adding interactivity, rearranging, changing your title and description. But if you have any other questions, please let me know in the chat too. I'd be happy to help. And for others watching, if you're just joining us, we are in the middle of today's Smithsonian Learning Lab online office hours, which we hold just about every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. During this hour, I am going to be here on YouTube and Facebook, ready to help with anything you need with the Learning Lab. This is a great time to come in with a question if you need some help with really anything in the lab, whether it's a general introduction to what the site is, step-by-step help of one of the lab's tools and features, or some help finding a resource or a collection that'll support you. Wonderful, Ricardo. I'm so glad to hear that this was helpful. Great, I'm glad it could help. So while I wait for the next question to come in, which again, you can submit using the chat box on YouTube or the comment box if you're joining us on Facebook, I'm going to turn off my webcam, but I will still be here, still watching the chat, and I'll come back as soon as the next question arrives. See you soon. Hi, everyone. We're nearing the end of today's Smithsonian Learning Lab online office hours, which we hold just about every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm here to answer any questions you have about the Learning Lab. I'm screen sharing throughout today's session, so I'd be happy to walk you through step by step and answer to whatever question you have. Already in this session, we've talked a little bit about creating a collection and the different ways that you can approach doing that. If you have a question, please send it to me using the chat box if you're joining us on YouTube or the comment box if you're joining us on Facebook. While I wait for the next question to come in, I'm going to turn off my webcam, but I will still be here, still watching the chat, and I'll come back as soon as the next question arrives. See you soon. All right, we've reached the end of today's Smithsonian Learning Lab online office hours. It's 5 p.m. Eastern, which means it's time for me to sign off. However, office hours will be back next Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. My colleague Philippa Rappaport will be hosting that session. You can keep updated with the schedule in two different ways: via the Learn section at the very bottom of the homepage, where we keep a running list of upcoming events, and our recently, as of yesterday, redesigned help page, where you'll find not only links to these office hours, but also other webinar offerings that we'll be holding throughout the month. Outside of webinars and office hours, you'll also find our Getting Started in the Smithsonian Learning Lab guide that'll walk you through all of the kind of basic and more advanced features of the site. Here too, if you have a question for our team, you can contact us. Even though we're going to be off YouTube and Facebook, at least office hours wise, over the next week until next Tuesday when we hold our next session, you can always get in touch with us through the contact form. So I hope today was helpful for those of you who joined us, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.